What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. So good to have you here. This week we got a lot to cover on the Zone News. We got some Mandalorian season 4 possibly happening, maybe, who knows? Pedro Pascal, speaking of him, gives us an update on what he thinks is going to happen to Joel in The Last of Us season 2. We got some new Avatar posters that drop. Gonna take a look at those. Let's talk a little bit about the box office this weekend and who are the front runners and the ones who kind of fell behind. And of course, with Echo now doing his thing on on Disney Plus. Let Alec Cox talks a little bit about what she would like to see with the character. So, anyways, we got a lot to cover this week on the Zone News. Let's go. Okay, so as I mentioned, The Mandalorian season 4 could could potentially be delayed. So according to the direct.com, The Mandalorian season 4 may have been put on ice amid the announcement of a new Star Wars movie. In the Hollywood Reporter's Heat Vision newsletter, the outlet addressed the next season of the Disney Plus series as Lucasfilm pulled the curtain back on the Mando-centric The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So as you all know, they announced um, uh, Mando and Grogu were going to have a movie together called The Mandalorian and Grogu movie. And mind you, at one point, there was rumors saying that there was still going to be a season 4. Coming out, and also the Mandalorian movie coming out as well. Um, but it's looking though that Disney is now going to hold off on the Mandalorian season 4 until after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So the article, let's keep reading. The article says Disney is reportedly now looking to release the Mandalorian season 4 after Jon Favreau's newly revealed Mando movie, if it happens at all. So we get the announcement of the Mandalorian season 4. We were told, matter of fact, it was greenlit before season 3 even dropped. So there was reports. Jon Favreau said the scripts were written or they're in the middle of writing. And then of course the strike happened. And I think what has happened here is with the strike happening and the performance of season 3, Disney has had some time to reevaluate some things, and they're thinking maybe the Mandalorian is not season 4 is not a priority. I'm happy about the movie. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited that this isn't the wrap up movie that we have been rumored to be getting, but this is its own movie, obviously still in that world. But I hope that we do get a season 4 simply because of the fact that I don't want the Grogu and Mandalorian movie to fill the need to have to wrap up the Mandalorian season series um, in a 2 hour time span. And with the way season 3 was and how it, it had way more other characters that really was more of the focus, I hope they come back and do a better, get back to like what season 1 made season 1 and season 2 so great, and wrap the season series up with a good season 3. But they might just take the movie and make the movie be a wrap up of at least the Mandalorian and Grogu story, and then of course I'm sure they will be showing up in future series like Ahsoka and things like that. But who knows? Anyways, we might not get a Mandalorian 4. How y'all feel about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, so with that down, that leads to the next story, which is also about a Pedro Pascal led character, because as you all know, he is the Mandalorian and lately has been the voice of the Mandalorian, but he is in The Last of Us, who I love the show. I am so excited for season two. I'm looking forward to it. Season one was awesome, and I cannot wait for season two. But yeah, there's been some news, or he was in an interview and shared his thoughts about the fate of Joel. Let's take a look. So, during a recent interview with Deadline, Emmy nominee Pedro Pascal was asked if Joel's fate in The Last of Us season two would be different from the character's original video game storyline, which, by the way, caused a load of controversy. That is probably one of the most divisive games I played in a long time. I loved it, by the way, but man, people still talk about how that game was in his fate. So even though he doesn't fully know what series creators uh Craig Mason and Neil Druckmann's entire plans are for Joel's future, Pascal teased that the next installment might have surprises in store for the viewers. He goes on to say, I think that they're always going to find ways to build on the incredible source material that they have and surprise us with how they can use the material in a different format, like a television show, Pascal said. But I wouldn't want to spoil it for anybody. And the truth is, I don't actually have all the information yet. So I actually believe that Pedro doesn't know everything that's happening, but he's, um, well, but I think he knows what's going to happen to Joel, and I don't think he's saying. But with that being said, they have to follow the game. I don't see how they could make it different and stay true to the source material. That's one of the things that. Sorry, you made that decision for Joel's. That's his fate. You made that decision. Y'all gotta live with it. Now, I'm sure he's 100% correct that they're going to offer different surprises in this season. They did in season one. Some surprises were great, some were just whatever for me. But the show still was so good that the some of the surprises that were only okay to me didn't take away from the overall awesomeness of the show. So I'm sure that they're gonna have some surprises, but you can't change what happens to Joel. You can't. I'm sure some people would like that to happen, but it literally drives the story forward. I do think they're probably going to stretch it out. I do think they're going to stretch it out because they were talking like they're going to potentially turn game two into multiple seasons. So but I don't see them changing. I don't see any surprise where they change Joel's fate. Anyways, what do y'all think? Are you with me? Could they possibly change Joel's fate? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'll see. Okay, so we've had some movies drop recently, and some old ones are continuing to do well, and new ones are not. For example, according to this article in Variety, the new movie ISS um, got a C grade and only landed a total of what was it, 1.2 million from 2,500 theaters across on its opening day. So clearly, ISS did not do that well. Again, it landed a C. But scroll too fast. One movie that is doing well apparently is Paramount's Mean Girls, the musical, as the Variety said, continues its reign as Queen Bee of the box office, earning 3.2 million on Friday from 3,826 theaters. The movie musical is expected to add another 11 million over the weekend, bringing its domestic total to more than 49 million. So, Mean Girls, the musical, is off to a good start. We've had some back-to-back musicals that are doing well. I have not seen Mean Girls yet. That's not something I was interested in. I like the movie, but I just wasn't really interested in a musical version of this, which is funny because I like musicals. But for some reason, this one just didn't catch my attention. I might be missing out on something great. Let me know. I think Trinity uh, wants to see it, um, but yeah, I'm good. In second place is Amazon MGM's The Beekeeper. Uh, Combed together 2.4 million on Friday, from 3,330 locations, which is down 64% from the previous week, which happens. But it's projected 3-day estimate of 8.4 million. So I've heard a lot about The Beekeeper. I heard it's actually a really good throwback to action movies, like just bang, explosion, good hero, David Ayer, let's go. And I actually want to check it out. I don't know when I'm gonna get an opportunity to see it, but I do want to check out The Beekeeper. And Wonka is still rocking. It's looking at an estimated 6.7 million, and it's 6 week of release, or 6 weekend of release, bringing that up to, they're thinking, will exceed 187.4 million through Sunday. And for those who don't know, Wonka is also a musical. So we've had Wonka, we've had the Color Purple, we've had Mean Girls. Wonka isn't being advertised as a musical, but trust me, it is. Uh, so yeah, then of course, Anyone But You landed in fourth place, earning 1.7, bringing its domestic total to 64.2, and Universal's Migration with 1.1 million, bringing its domestic total to 94 million. Also opening this weekend is uh, Ava DuVernay's Origin, uh, which brought in 380,000 on Friday across only 130 screens. So that's actually not bad. Um, that's not bad at all, especially for only 130 screens. But anyways, that's the box office for this weekend. Did y'all see any of these? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so the actress from Echo, Alakwa, I'm saying it wrong, I apologize, Cox, talked to Deadline about how she felt about the character and what her future should be. Let's take a look, shall we? So she says, I hope that she doesn't go back to, this is the article. This is from superhero hype .com, and of course they're referencing an article that she did with Deadline, interview she did with Deadline. So she says, I hope that she doesn't go back to New York City, referring to Echo. I really hope not personally, because it's just a horrible place for her to be with all those traumatic uh, memories she has growing up. Now that she's able to reconnect and open up more with her blood related family, and she realized that they never left her side, Cox said in an interview with Deadline. Then she goes on to say how she's been gone many years, uh, and all that stuff. But let's get down to where her future is. But she says, honestly, I wouldn't mind if Maya joined the Avengers, Cox continued. I think it would be so amazing to cross paths with superheroes. I would love that. I would be very fun. I think would be very fun. I think it'd be great to work with Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk. I love him as an actor and a person, because Mark is a huge advocate for indigenous women, and he's from Wisconsin, and I'm from Wisconsin, so we have that in common. But Mark is just an amazing advocate for women, and I think be amazing to work with. I think that we would have a lot of things to talk about. I can just imagine those conversations already. Okay, so clearly she wants Echo to be a part of the Avengers, and here's how I feel about that. Um, Well, first off, they need to figure out who is going to be on Avengers for sure, right? We got two Avengers movies coming. As of right now, they haven't canceled uh the King Dynasty yet, and then we have the Secret Wars um or coming. So um there's that. But we haven't even established who the Avengers are. But I'd like, and she's actually been on the Avengers before, in the comic books. Actually, different iterations, uh, not different iterations, but in multiple different time frames, she has been on the Avengers. Uh, so it would make sense if they're following comic book canon for her to be there. Um, so I would be cool with that, but I'd like the Marvel to revisit. And this is where it gets a little interesting. Um, but I'd like for them to revisit. What's the joint? With Daredevil and Luke Cage. Uh, Heroes for Hire. Let me look it up. That's not
A few moments later.
Um,
5 minutes later.
the Defenders. So I would like Marvel to do revisit the Defenders. To be honest, now I know she just said she wants doesn't want her character to go back to New York, but I'd love to see that done well, right? With um Luke Cage, Daredevil, Echo, um, uh, um,
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Jessica Jones, Iron Fist. We could probably do without Iron Fist. That whole series was trash, and he was the weakest link out of all the Netflix shows. But Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Echo. I think that would be dope. But with that being said, it wouldn't be far fetched and out of character uh, for her to be a part of the Avengers, but they have to establish who the Avengers are. So if she's gonna be a part of that, they need to get working on establishing the Avengers first. But I would be down for that. But I'd like to see her be a part of a more grounded group, at least initially or at some point. And I'd like to see the MCU take on the Defenders, but in a better way, and include her in it. What do you all think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Okay, so as promised, here we go. Coming soon.net, Netflix dropped poster or character posters for the Avatar: The Last Airbender. Uh, Taking a look, they look pretty dope. Oh, okay, yeah, with each character and their element, and um, I dig it. I dig it. I'm excited for this series, y'all. I'm excited for The Last Airbender. You saw Phoenix and I's reaction to this. Um, this looks cool. All right, everybody. That's this week's episode of the Zone News. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And as always, if you like the content, click that like button and subscribe. We on our way to 1,000. I appreciate your help with that. And as always, thank you again for dropping in. And until the next one, peace.